Hi Joel, how are you doing?
Alright.
Good. Yeah, so thanks for completing the player profile and the public training questionnaire that I sent over. They've helped me put together this presentation today on confidence, as it's you mentioned it in the questionnaire as one of the things that you'd like to work on, and that you've had some issues with your confidence in the past.
Yeah.
And also in your player profile that you've got in the psychological profile section, it's this one you scored the least, and it's also the one your coach has scored the least as well.
Yeah.
So obviously I think that psychologically is something that we can try and give you some tips to help with today.
Yeah.
Okay. And technically you're saying you're struggling with your goal kicks, and maybe confidence might be a part of the little tricks we're going to use today, and techniques we're going to learn might help you with readying yourself with your goal kicks. Okay. So first of all, another thing I want to say is obviously I've got your acceptance to be videoed for this session today.
Yeah.
That's all signed there for you, and just want to confirm that you're still happy to do so.
Yeah.
Great stuff. So this is just a little presentation I've put together. It's not massive, it's just more prompts for me really, so I can cover what I need to cover, and something visual for you to look at. So starting the aims of today's session is to understand how confidence can be affected and discover techniques in order to build or maintain confidence levels.
Yeah.
Okay. What is confidence in your eyes?
The ability to do something so you know you can do it. So repeatedly do it over and over, but you know you can do it.
What we're going to look at is something called the 3 Fs. Okay, so fix it, forget it, and focus. So when you're striking the ball, if you know, generally when you strike a poor kick, you know, don't you?
Yeah.
You have an idea of what's gone wrong. And like you say, with your ankle, you can kind of say, no, I've not made the right connection, I've not, you know.
Yeah.
Or sometimes it's your standing foot, you get a bit too close to the ball. I've done it myself in the past when I used to play. You know, you just kind of, it doesn't kind of fit right, and you know what's wrong, and so that's the idea of fix it, is to, you know what's wrong, you know what you need to do the next time.
Yeah.
The second one could be one of the most important ones. Forget it. With any particularly mistakes, and as a goalkeeper, it's the worst position to make a mistake.
Yeah.
Because there's no one there to back you up afterwards. I think this, not just kicking but in general, is a good one, because it's just forget about it. Yeah. It's gone, it's happened, it's done with. That's a big one. And then focus. So, you know, sometimes it can be a little trigger, say something to yourself, you do something and your mind switches back into, right, that's gone with, back onto it.
Yeah.
Because obviously when you're playing, that's probably one of the worst things, is letting things dwell in your mind.
Yeah.
Have you ever used anything like this before? Sort of that sort of technique, just fix it, forget it, focus.
Yeah, all the times in matches, I wouldn't have like little sayings for it like that, but essentially that's what I'd do. Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of people generally they kind of have the same thought process, but this is kind of just saying what it, giving it a name and giving it something to talk about. Now, obviously, they are quite hard to do on their own.
Yeah.
It's not always the easiest. Someone I used to play with used to pick up bits of grass and that was him throwing it over his shoulder to forget it.
Yeah.
That was his trigger to forget and focus back in. Don't know if that's something you've ever tried before, or if it's just a mental talk to yourself, or
just a mental talk usually.
Yeah. That's leads on to the next one. Self-talk, or in this case, positive self-talk. In general, not just when you've made a mistake or anything. Self-talk is a big one. If you keep saying positive thoughts to yourself internally, and try and keep your spirits up and keep, quite happy, generally you can become a lot more confident.
Yeah.
Like you say, with the ankle injuries you've had, and sometimes that can knock, a couple of performances that maybe don't go your way, can knock your confidence a little bit. Self-talk's a good way of keeping yourself on track.
Yeah.
And bringing your levels back up. what type of stuff do you reckon you could say to yourself that would really help you to stay confident?
Stuff like focus on the next save, the next opportunity to play well.
Yeah.
Sort of things like that.
What about, would you say anything towards, you can do this, you're better than this?
Yeah.
It's got, a good one is it's gone now.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's another way of, with regards to forget it. It's a good way of helping it's gone, let's move on. You know, even stuff such as, you know, you understanding what level you're at and understand that you're good enough to play at that level is a big part of it. So sometimes just saying I belong here, you know, that can really, especially for a young keeper like yourself, when you've got to go and play against sometimes much older players.
Yeah.
If you do obviously have times where you don't particularly play well, or maybe because you're younger, the manager doesn't put you in. You know, I belong here can be something that keeps pushing you forward to get yourself into that team.
Yeah.
And that'd be a really good, you know, a good phrase to use. Any other ones that you can think of?
Not really. I think I covered it really there. I wouldn't really say stuff like you belong here and stuff like that. I'd more use stuff like just think about the game I'm in now, if you get what I mean. It's like the next chance coming. See,
this is the thing, self-talk is all about you.
Yeah.
I can make suggestions, and obviously if you don't feel comfortable with the suggestions, that's all I can do. Do you think do you have any negative comments sometimes to yourself? I think that's another part of it, trying to cut the negative comments if you do make any.
Yeah, of course, but I think that's only natural. But obviously, I've tried cutting it out more recently, because it's like if you make a mistake and you concentrate on that mistake and say negative things, you're going to make another mistake and it's going to lead and snowball effect sort of thing.
And that's, like I said, with the 3 F's in self-talk, they do kind of intertwine with each other.
Yeah.
Because the self-talk can help you keep focused onto using them 3 F's to get yourself back focused again and get yourself right into the right frame of mind. And they do intertwine in that way.
Yeah.
Another one, I don't know if you've ever done anything like this, but have you ever heard of pre-performance routines?
Yeah.
Where obviously, well, in fact, you've heard of some. Maybe you can explain what you know of it.
Do you mean like just like how you prepare for a match, or even to a warm-up sort of thing?
It can be. Warm-ups are good ones because obviously it's something you've got to do beforehand. You know, some people can sometimes get confused between routines and superstitions.
Yeah.
You know, certain people won't put a shirt on before going on the pitch because they think they're going to lose if they do that.
Yeah.
Routines is stuff you do to prepare yourself to play.
Yeah.
Or in the instance we're going to try and use this today is actually to perform a skill. So have you ever heard of Johnny Wilkinson, the rugby player?
Yeah.
Johnny Wilkinson had a particular technique for when he was kicking, which is a big thing for you because it's very much the same type of skill, but what's called closed skills. So kicking for goal in their situation and goal kicks for you are very much closed skill. It's just you and the ball, which is static.
Yeah.
So there's nothing that can really affect it other than yourself. So I've just got a little clip here. I'm going to skip it on to 1 minute 35, give myself a little note. So this is just him explaining to David Beckham what he used to do when he was preparing for a kick.
So 5 steps back, 4 back, 4 back. Yeah, come this way, come this way. Go in line with the post. That's it. That's what. We'll start again. Yeah. 4 steps back, 5 to the side. Sort my foot out a bit, just a bit of toe. Yeah, just a quick. Hands, don't forget the hands. Oh, good hit. Oh, no.
Yeah, so as you can see, he had a particular routine for when he took his kicks.
Yeah.
Now, a lot of that is comfort and making sure you're in the right place to perform the technique you're used to, and some of it can be psychological. Sometimes it's engaging your brain into the fact that you're performing that skill in this instance. So like you said, with warm-ups and stuff, if you do the similar stuff every time, then that's preparing you adequately for your game.
Yeah.
with regards to this is looking at your performance of a particular skill and any particular amount of steps you take. Or so, like with your goal kick, would you take many steps back? Do you count them, or?
I wouldn't count it, but I'd say roughly about 4. Just so I just sort of know a certain distance from the ball. I wouldn't measure it, but I know whether it's too long or too short for the correct run up and stuff.
Is there anything else you'd do before kicking it? Like, would you literally just step back, run up, kick the ball?
Make sure my body's sort of straight, so I'm not kicking at an angle. I visualise myself doing it before I make contact with it, like where I'm going to kick, what part of my foot's going to make contact with the ball.
Yeah, visualising is a really good way of doing it. It's what we call it imagery. So you're seeing yourself performing the skill. That's a really good technique to use, and that's really good that you're already doing that. Because like you say, you can see yourself perform it, so you know you can perform it that way. And it's about making sure your body, imagery can be used to, so your body has a mental image of what you need to do, and then your body can react and perform the skill in the same way. So pre-performance routines are very much like that. Would you consider maybe adding a couple of things beforehand to try and?
Yeah, if it was beneficial and I found that it worked, and it made a difference to me getting more distance, then yeah, definitely.
Well, we'll give it a go outside. So you'll do your normal ones, and then we'll have a little chat over a routine that maybe you might want to try. See if there's anything you want to put in, and then we'll have another crack and see if it helps. I think a key one sometimes is breathing.
Yeah.
A lot of people sometimes don't breathe when they're doing it. Obviously, with a goal kick, there's not as much pressure on a goal kick as there maybe would be on a penalty or a free kick in certain situations. But it's still a lot of pressure in setting your team up in the right way.
Yeah. And
sometimes outfielders may not understand that, and just think all you do is smack a ball.
Yeah.
There is a technique to it. There's a reason you have to do it the way you do it.
Yeah.
So obviously we're going to look at that side of it. So let's go back. I just want to finish on this one more of those fantastic quotes that I've got. When it hurries up. Yeah. So stop doubting yourself, work hard, and make it happen. I think the key word with both of the little phrases I've got is doubt.
Yeah.
And that's a big part, and confidence is a big thing where doubt can really affect your confidence.
Yeah.
And obviously doubting your ankle at the moment, that obviously is affecting your confidence and your confidence in kicking. So maybe we need to try and remove the doubt a little bit.
Yeah.
And hopefully we can do that.
Look at doing some kick instead of like only 1 on 10 kicks. 10 kicks as you normally would. We'll have a look at the technique in a bit of the video on how to do it. And we'll release all the new technique in 1 minute after to use it. Yeah. That's not what we do when you use it. How many steps do you normally do?
About 5 back and 2 to the left of the ball. Okay. 1, 6, 4, 5, and 1, 2. Like that.
Okay. So is that where you feel most comfortable?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, that way. Yeah.
Change my angle a little bit, just look at the ball now, okay?
Okay.
Okay, we'll record a few of them ones, do a couple more.
Yeah.
Try and keep the rhythm. Okay? I'm watching my eye now, because I'm going to have So, when we did our chat in the office the other day, we spoke about pre-performance routines. So I asked the question what would you normally do, and one thing I've noticed is you said you do 5 steps back and 2 to the side, and then when I stop filming, funnily enough, instantly you do this. Instead of going to doing the side back, you're going like that, straight away you went, gives you 5 back on the diagonal. Yeah. Now, the angle is still the same, but what the key of the pre-performance routines and what we spoke about was there can be mental triggers that you're going to do a certain thing. So if you go from doing the 5 back to the cross and then changing, that mental trigger doesn't happen in the line. Yeah. Okay. So what I want you to focus on when you're doing it now, you're going to add a little bit more to the pre-performance as you come in. Spot you put it on the line.
I was going to do it on the right hand side of the goal, so I'm kicking it from the left. I want to be like, so the goal's behind me. So you know, if you kick it from here, the goal's to the side of me. So if I kick it and they're in the header, it's harder to get back across. Whereas if it's on the right hand side, I have to go behind me. If I kick it and they head it, I'm already shooting my goal.
Yeah. So I get that. Sometimes you have to go the other side because depending on what time the ball goes out. So there is a comfort thing, obviously in your head when you're on this side you'll worry about getting back across.
But if I was kicking that side, I'd stay in the middle and just hang on and run up so I can kick that way instead of coming over to this side and then everyone shuffle over and do it. That passes on and enough.
Right, okay. So when we're on this side of the box, would you put it closer to the post like you kind of have now?
Yeah.
And then that side maybe start it wide so you can hit it more simple if it does go over a bit. So that's, I think that's probably a good spot for the ball in now, yeah? So what I want you to try and do now is just something to see if it works for you, just to get yourself focused in. So normally you pick the ball up from behind the goal or whatever. You're going to start the ball behind you now. So if you pick it up from here, so you're going to come, pick the ball up. What are you doing? When you put the foot up to the ball, I'm walking up, 1, 2. Click on the ball, then 2 back, then you do ball, 2. Place the ball like you normally would. And now I want you to really focus on that 5 steps back. Right? And then make the conscious 2 steps. Now what I wouldn't do in 2 steps, I noticed the cross in the second one. Two things like one is when you put the hip and add the hip and two, it's really kind of a half step. Where you just go 1, 2, and then 3. Okay? And then obviously we talked about self-start. So where you look at the ball, you need to do the ball. See where you want to put that ball. Well, ideally, where would you want to put the ball? In the middle. Yeah. maybe not this bit here. And then concentrate on that. So when you get back to this point here, take a second, visualise how it would work. Some people like to do like a little bit of a twist or movement if they've done it. Like whatever works for you. And then once you come through, strike there. Round left foot to start. Always use that as your focus on punch. Don't look on the focus on as long as you get that ball up in the right direction, no way away. Then there's definitely. Start with the balls back here now. Off you go. How did that feel?
Much more connection.
Did it feel a lot more comfortable for you as well?
Yeah, because I felt like on the other ones I was a bit worried about possibly hitting my toe in the ground, my ankle going. But that one I felt like when I wasn't stopping my foot, just swung through it, I just felt like I must have been attention to the ball.
Part of what you want to do is out of the moment, so you actually need to focus on the routine with the big sport, so it's really good to
visualising that part of what I'm going to use and where it is in the ball and the website. So that helps.
So I'm going to look at now, I'm going to go back to the second angle and film, and we're going to compare the trajectories. So before, we were going a little bit flat, and that one off my eye was actually going a lot higher, and went a lot further. So I'm just going to film from this angle again, just to get an idea. Alright Joel, so here are the videos we did before.
Yeah.
As you can see, this is one of the first ones.
Yeah.
Speed it up a little bit. Just had a little look at it myself. So if we look here and you strike this ball, we can zoom in a second. If it wants to go and kick it. There we go. If you look at the angle of your foot there as you've struck that ball, as you can see, it's kind of opened up, so it's like you're hitting it more with the inside of the foot.
Yeah.
So I think that's where maybe early on you were possibly, if you remember, it was curling away a little bit.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's where that was kind of coming from.
Mhm.
Why do you think you were kind of striking at that part of the foot?
Because when I was trying to strike it with the laces, I was scared that I would stub my toe into the ground and it would jog my ankle back, and it would sort of hurt the ankle again.
So if we look at the next one, which is a bit later on, this one's from behind. If you look at your striking foot now, wind it back a touch. We'll zoom in on that. If you look, you're striking that a lot more with the laces. What do you think helped you with the technique there?
Just visualising what part I'm going to use, like knowing, like when I put the ball down, I thought I'm going to hit it with my laces on that part of the ball.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So did you find that the imagery part of the 3Fs kind of works?
That was very useful, yeah.
That last little bit, yeah. That's good. And then also, the earlier video where we were looking at your trajectory, if we just have a look at the trajectory of this ball now, it's quite flat.
Yeah.
It's like you've drilled it into sort of like a clipped pass more than a clear strike on the ball. It's not got a bad direction, but it's a bit more clipped, as you can see.
Yeah.
But then if you look at this one, I think it's this one, you get much more height on it, and it's much more central.
Yeah, of course.
And I think that comes from that technique, that changing the technique. I think that's really
Yeah.
helped you. How did you find it today?
Found it much better once I implemented the technique, and I felt a much better connection. Like, you know, when you can just tell when you hit the ball, you've hit it right. I felt much more confident when I hit it. Like, and once you get a few going, your confidence goes up, and then you think, I can do it, and your mindset changes.
Yeah. Well, that was the big one, obviously, working on the confidence, and like you said, you mentioned it there yourself. So I think we've certainly hit something. Would you continue using the techniques we've talked about?
Yeah, definitely. If it gets the results like it has been doing, then yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Great stuff. All right. Cheers for taking part.